What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon back here today with your college football week number 9 prediction video. And as always, we had a lot of movement in my top 25 this week. As you can see, Miami moved down. Alabama into the top 4. I've been really impressed with Alabama. And we got the 3 big undefeated teams that I think are really, really good: Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. Georgia Tech is undefeated as well. They're slowly creeping up. And then you got BYU at 13, also an undefeated team. And a team that has yet to break this list because I'm kind of waiting for them to play a good team. And next week, not this upcoming week, but in week 10, they play in North Texas. That is Navy. So they could potentially be on this list as well in the upcoming weeks. But a lot of movement. A lot of movement. Miami fell to Louisville. That's why Louisville is now ranked once again. I think Louisville is a pretty good team. So let's get into this week's video and predictions, which we are going to start it off with the quick picks as always. But this week we have Tuesday games yet again, and let's talk about them. So we have Tuesday, Kennesaw State going up against FIU. This one, once again, a lot of these games that are midweek are not the lesser teams necessarily, but teams that are mostly just fighting for conference championships. They're not really playoff teams and teams we really need to jump in too deep about. But Kennesaw State, FIU, give me Kennesaw State 24-21. Then we got Western Kentucky going up against Louisiana Tech. I got it being a funky score of 23-21 in Western Kentucky's favor. Next, we get to Wednesday. Middle Tennessee takes on Delaware. Kind of an interesting game. Delaware's decent. Mid Tennessee can maybe put up a fight. I'm going to go Delaware, though, 28-17 in that one. Then you get Missouri State going up against New Mexico State. Should be a close one. I'm going Missouri State 27-24 in that one. Then Thursday, we have Southern Alabama, going up against Georgia State. Another should be a decent game, 27-21 there for South Alabama. Next, we get North Texas, who we just got done talking about, actually, saying that if you beat them, it's a good win. Going up against Charlotte, I got North Texas winning that one, 38-10. North Texas will put up points. Cal going up against Virginia Tech, also Thursday. Interesting game there. Give me Virginia Tech to lose a close one. Cal has kind of been up and down, to be honest with you. They are a team that early in the season I was like, hey, maybe, just maybe. But ultimately though, there's nothing there to write home about. Oh, my apologies. North Texas, starting from North Texas until the next game is all on Friday. So North Texas and Cal are both Friday games. And so is Boise State going up against Nevada. Boise State coming off of a good win against UNLV. Boise State wins this one as well, 38-14. Then we get into the Saturday slate. We do not have lines on some of the feature games of the week. However, we can jump on into the games on Saturday. First, we got Illinois versus Washington. In Washington, it's going to be a tough game for Illinois to win. Give me Washington 24-21. I hate to say it because obviously you all know that I'm an Illinois fan. Wisconsin going to Eugene to play Oregon. Oregon coming off of a big win against Rutgers after the letdown against Indiana. Oregon, they should dominate this game much like Rutgers. 42-3, give me Oregon. Then we're going to get into our first feature game of the week where we have number 9 Ole Miss going up against number 12 Oklahoma. And that is obviously going to be one of the bigger games of the week. I considered making it being the game that caps off this episode. However, I gave the benefit of the doubt elsewhere. Ole Miss, I was saying it during the game to my buddies. I was like, there's something off about this Ole Miss team. This Ole Miss team has a good resume, but there's something off about them. It felt like maybe they would have a hiccup, and they had a hiccup there in the second half against Georgia, and they ended up losing that game, a game that at one point they had a decent lead. They were up, they had 35, and they got pitched a shutout for the rest of the game. This team can score. This Ole Miss team can score, but it hasn't always looked the most impressive out of Ole Miss. They've gotten the job done. Oklahoma. Obviously, we know that they had a letdown not too long ago as well in their own scenario. However, I have looked at Oklahoma pretty much the same all season, that this team can get the job done because John Mateer is potentially the best QB in the country. The Texas letdown was tough, but that's Mateer's first game back coming off injury. That's tough. But you also got to remember, this Oklahoma team, they were ranked high for a reason. The defense is significantly better than usual at Oklahoma. So that gives them a chance. And if you can get Mateer in a situation, a one-possession game, and I had to pick between which QB I trust more in a close game, Trinidad Chamberlain, he's good. He's really, really good. I would have to take John Mateer. He's one of those top 5, top 10 QBs in the country. I got to rock with Mateer and company here. I'm going in, especially since it's an Oklahoma home game. I got to pick Oklahoma to win this one, 27-24. I'm just feeling it. It's a gut feeling here with Oklahoma. I've had kind of a funny feeling about Ole Miss for a while. I've mentioned it a few times on here. I think Ole Miss is a good team, but I do think they are very susceptible to hiccups, and they will have the hiccups on Saturday. Give me Oklahoma to win that one. Let's get back into more quick picks. And we are going to go right on into Bowling Green versus Kent State. Bowling Green, they should have I don't know about an easy time, but they should win this game. I got 21-17, Bowling Green. Virginia. Ooh, Virginia, man. You almost made me look bad. Look at where Virginia is. Look how high I think of Virginia. They almost made me look bad this week. 2-point win, but they got the job done. Shout out to Virginia for getting the job done. That's the number one goal in a football game. Win and worry about the rest later. 28-13 for Virginia against North Carolina. Give me the Cavaliers. Kansas State going up against Kansas. A little state rivalry there. I'm going Kansas State. Don't love that pick, but I'm going Kansas State 24-21. Next, we're going to get into Appalachian State going up against Old Dominion. Like I said, JMU and Old Dominion would be a high-scoring game. It was very specifically on the side of JMU. But Old Dominion should get back this week. 35-21 against App State. Rutgers versus Purdue. Give me Rutgers in a close one. 24-17. Don't love either team there. Syracuse versus Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia Tech comfortably. 31-14. Next, we get to Ohio versus Eastern Michigan. Give me Ohio to win 28-17. Then we will head over to SMU versus Wake Forest, where I think it will be a close one, but give me SMU to win that one 27-24. And let's get into our next feature game of the week, and that is USF going against Memphis. This would have been probably one of the games to cap off the episode if Memphis didn't have a hiccup against UAB. But Memphis had a hiccup versus UAB. Memphis was one of those teams I was looking at as like, hey, this could be a playoff team. You avoid the hiccups and you could be a playoff team once we get down to the CFP rankings and all that. You could be the representative by winning your conference, being undefeated. Now you got to go get a big win here against USF. USF, obviously, we've talked about them. They've been really, really good. They had that letdown against Miami, but we talked about them, right? Like, Miami's still a top 5 team even after a loss against Louisville. Now, Memphis, this is your biggest chance. You got to answer here, because it could come down at the end of the season to who wins this game. USF right now, if you asked me, is probably in the playoffs. They got a good case. Who's going to be your non-Power 4 representative in the playoffs? I would say, as of right now, I would pick USF. Memphis, you got to go out and prove it. You had a letdown against UAB. You were a team that could have been a representative of your conference in the college football playoffs, but ultimately, you came up short against UAB. You have to answer here against USF if you have any sort of chance. USF, this is a must-win game for them as well, right? The loser of this game will have 2 losses, and quite simply enough, you will not make it to the college football playoffs with 2 losses if you are not in one of the main 4 conferences, which are the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and the SEC. And I would probably guess that not very many Big 12 teams would get in with 2 losses on their record. The ACC I'm very high on this year. The SEC and the Big 10, we know the love that the committee will give to those conferences. You won't get it here. If from a conference here, a smaller conference. The winner of this game has a good chance to make it into the playoffs, but this is a must-win game for both sides. This is a game being held at Memphis, which I do think makes it interesting. Now, the QB on the screen is Lewis, the Memphis QB. He went down, and I'm going to be honest, I did not watch all of the game. I watched, like, a part of the game, just tuning in, like, what's going on here? Guess what? Their QB went down. They were playing, I believe, a freshman QB. I think his name's like A.J. Hill or something. I might be getting that wrong. But either way, they were playing a freshman QB. Right now, Brendan Lewis, when I looked it up, it says questionable. He's got to play to give Memphis a chance. Quite simple. This could get out of hand. USF, we've seen them handle lesser opponents before this season, and it gets out of hand quick. You need your QB here if you are Memphis. You will not win this game without him. I always operate under the belief that if you are listed as questionable, you will be playing. That has kind of been just the general rule of thumb for me. I am assuming that Memphis will have their QB for this game. And even with them having their QB in this game, I think it is an uphill battle. I have USF winning this game 38-31. I think it's going to be high scoring. I tend to trust Byron Brown. This offense on USF will put up points. The defense might not even let them get to 31. I feel like I might be being generous there, giving Memphis 31. But this QB on the Memphis side has had a really good season up until, obviously, getting hurt in the UAB game. So you got to be careful with Memphis. But I think this is a game, even with the QB, USF should come out on top. So we are riding with USF. Don't be surprised if it's Memphis. I'm leaning USF, but I would not be shocked if Memphis can get the job done. But this is a must-win game on both sides. One of these teams, their playoff hopes will die on Saturday. Whose hopes will die is the question. Is it USF's? Will it be Memphis's? Memphis already has an uphill battle because they have a way worse loss against UAB than the Miami loss of USF, right? If these teams did not play each other and we were going into the playoffs, I would say, you know what? USF is more deserving. They have a Miami loss and you have a UAB loss. But then you look at other teams that, like we mentioned, Navy, undefeated right now, hasn't really played anybody, but undefeated. If they can get a big win against North Texas, then maybe they can also have a case over both of these teams even. So you got to be real careful here in this game if you're either team. Must-win scenario for both sides. But I am rocking with USF. All right, let's get back into more quick picks. And we are going to go over to Auburn versus Arkansas. Auburn, man, they just keep coming up short. We got them winning this one after Arkansas also came up short of a win this week. Almost would have been an upset. But Auburn, we got them winning 17-13. They like to play those gritty, low-scoring games. Then we get to Akron versus Buffalo. Give me Buffalo to win 28-14. Utah State going up against New Mexico. I like Utah State in this one, 31-24. Then we go to UConn versus Rice. Going to be a weird scoring game, kind of in the middle there. UConn winning 24-20. Western Michigan going up against Miami, Ohio. Give me Western Michigan 24-21. Ball State going up against Northern Illinois. I'm going Ball State 24-14. Northern Illinois really struggles this season. NC State going up against Pittsburgh. I like both these teams. I do think Pittsburgh gets the edge at home, 34-31 Pitt. Alabama versus South Carolina. As I've been saying, Alabama's probably playing the best football in the country right now. They just had that loss early in the season against Florida State, which keeps looking worse and worse. But anyways, Alabama 31-17 in that one. Then we go to Toledo versus Washington State, who's been playing some close games lately. But Washington State shouldn't have a close game because they should dominate Toledo. 28-17, give me Washington State. Temple versus Tulsa. Give me Temple to win that one, 24-17. Florida Atlantic going up against Navy. We just talked about Navy. Avoid the upset, Navy. You will not be a playoff team if you have a loss. 21-14, give me Navy. All right, let's get into another featured game this week. We are going to UCLA versus Indiana. I would not have circled this game at the beginning of the season. As a game, we would be like, hey, this will be a feature game this week. UCLA, 3 weeks ago, I would not have circled this game. I'd be like, yeah, Indiana's going to dominate. Not to say Indiana won't dominate. Indiana's a really good football team. They've shown it time and time again this season. We need to put more respect on Indiana than we're even giving them, right? Indiana right now is number 2 in my rankings. They were number 3 in the AP last week. But Indiana, really, really good team. Has one of the best QBs in the country, Fernando Mendoza. Has one of the best defenses in the country right now. Has one of the best coaches in the country with Curt Cignetti. It's a really good Indiana team. And then you got UCLA, who is 3-0 since firing their head coach. 3-0. That makes you think, what could this team have been this season if maybe they just started off with their current staff and they didn't have the head coach at the beginning of the year? Because this team has had some impressive victories lately. I mean, it's been nobody elite, right? There's nobody on the level of Indiana that UCLA has played and beat so far. However, you continue to look at it. UCLA has found ways to beat decent Big Ten teams with a completely new staff and the same exact players. These guys, there's no reason this team should have lost to, I think it was New Mexico, right? There's no reason. But they did. Indiana, it's a tough task. I will admit that. I've seen them firsthand twice this season with Illinois and Oregon. It is a tough, tough task. I don't think UCLA will get it done, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I do have it being a 2-possession game, which the scoreline's like, yeah, it's kind of a blowout. I don't really think it's going to be that out of hand. UCLA is going to lose it, but Indiana 31-17. I think UCLA has a better chance than I'm even giving them credit for. UCLA is a team that at the beginning of the year had some potential to maybe be a top 25 team, right? Then we saw them with such a terrible start to the season. They got rid of their coach, and they've looked much more closer to the team we kind of expected them to be rather than the team that they were to start the season. And ultimately, it's how you finish the season that's going to determine like our thoughts on the team. This could be a team that can make a bowl game. They won't make the playoffs, but this could be a bowl caliber team. UCLA, you got a big chance to prove yourselves this week against Indiana. It's an uphill battle. I will admit that. You're going to Indiana to play this game, but ultimately, I got to rock with Indiana to win 31-17. That's just how the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry. I am sorry, UCLA. All right, let's wrap it on up with UMass versus Central Michigan. Central Michigan wins that one 20-17. Louisiana Monroe going up against Southern Mississippi. Give me Southern Mississippi to win 28-24. BYU, shout out to them getting another win. Going up against Iowa State will be close. BYU 31-27. Rocking with the Cougars. Oklahoma State going up against Texas Tech. Texas Tech, you need a big game this week after a loss. 45-10. Give me Texas Tech. Baylor versus Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati in a close 28-21 game. Texas versus Mississippi State. Texas has not impressed me. 24-17. Texas to win. TCU versus Western Virginia. Give me TCU to win 28-17. Louisiana going up against Troy. I like Troy in this one, 21-14. Georgia Southern going up against Arkansas State. Give me Arkansas State to win a funky score of 27-21. Stanford versus Miami. Shout out to Stanford. Shout out to Stanford getting a win last night versus Miami. That won't happen. Miami wins 35-10. Stanford did end up getting a win last night, right? Like, I'm not making that up in my head. Did they win last night? I thought I saw that they won. Did they win? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They did win against Florida State last night. I couldn't remember who they played. And then Michigan versus Michigan State, a little state rivalry there as well. Michigan 28-17, they will win. All right, let's get to another feature game, which is Texas A&M going up to play LSU. LSU, obviously a team I've been really high on, a team that I still think is really good. They are coming off of a loss. Texas A&M right now is a top 5 team in the country. This is a spot, though, that LSU could get one. It is a home game for LSU. The crowd will be in LSU's favor. However, I have liked more of what I have seen out of A&M than what I have seen out of LSU. LSU's offense at times has gone stagnant. And for whatever reason, I think that's going to be an impact in this game. And not all on Nussmeier, right? They've had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. They've had a lot of rotation in that offensive line room. I just don't love this matchup here for LSU. A banged up LSU team going up against A&M here. An LSU team that's offensive line at times has struggled. A&M, one of the better defenses right now. I say that after a bad week for them, but a defensive line that can get to you if you are lacking on the offensive line side. I got to rock with A&M to win this one. I really do. It's going to be close. I've been saying it from the get-go, right? I think Nussmeier is great. I think he'll be an NFL QB. He will be throwing the ball on Sundays. But ultimately, I cannot pick LSU to win a game when their offensive line has struggled as much as it has, and their defense will not pitch a shutout. They will let Texas A&M score. I got to rock with Texas A&M to win 27-24. I think this is a game that might come down to the last possession. And in the big moment, I don't know if LSU could get the stop. I don't. So we're going to go A&M to win that one. We're going to wrap it up with the last quick picks and then head on over to Missouri versus Vanderbilt. But we're going to start off with Colorado State going up against Wyoming. Give me Colorado State to win 21-17. We get Boston College against the newest top 25 member, Louisville. Give me Louisville to win 28-14. Tennessee versus Kentucky. Tennessee, rough week going up against Alabama. Guess what? Kentucky is another tricky test. They will try to keep it a low scoring. Tennessee obviously would like to put up points. But I don't think Kentucky's offense really matters too much. 24-10 for Tennessee. Houston versus Arizona State. Big opportunity here for Houston, a one-loss team this season. Arizona State, obviously a two-loss team, but they have some impressive wins, so that's why they're back in my top 25. Another good chance here. Both teams, decent teams. Give me Arizona State to win 35-21. Then we go to Colorado versus Utah. Utah obviously coming off of a loss. Give me Utah to win a close one, 24-21 against Colorado. Colorado very capable of pulling off the upset. Northwestern going up against Nebraska. Nebraska letdown game this week. Guess what? 24-17. They should beat Northwestern. Minnesota versus Iowa. Iowa, I'm going to be fully honest. I don't fully know this to be fact because I did not look too deeply into it. I think they beat Penn State. They will beat Minnesota 17-14. Going to be a low-scoring game. Then we finish off the quick picks with San Diego State going up against Fresno State. San Diego State should win this one. I'm going to go 28-24 to them. And we are going to finish it off with, let me tell you the rankings. Number 16, Missouri going up against number 10, Vanderbilt. I think this is going to be a really good game. Missouri, at times yesterday, struggled in pass protection. They let Bo Pribula get a little rushed up, and it was a big problem for them. The run game, for the most part, got held in check. If that is the kind of game plan that Vanderbilt will go with, and I'm going to be honest, I would do it against them. Just try to limit the run and cause Bo Pribula to be under stress the entire game. Vanderbilt, I would be trying as hard as I can to get to those two right there in the backfield. Make it hard on them. Make Bo Pribula beat you through the air and continue to pressure him. It looked like a struggle at times against Auburn. Auburn, a really good defense. Is Vandy's defense up to the test? I think they can be. Will they be? I don't know. On the other end of things, right? Missouri's defense was okay against Auburn. They need to be on their A game to beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will move the ball. Pavia will run all over you. He will sling it out. This is a very good Vanderbilt team. That is why they're my 10th team in the country. You got to be on your A game when you play Vanderbilt because we've seen it. We've seen Vanderbilt pull off upsets. We've seen them be able to hang with the big dogs in the SEC. Missouri, this is your biggest chance. Vandy, this is your biggest chance, right? The loser of this has a very hard path to get to the college football playoffs. The winners of this, their path gets slightly easier, right? It's one less top 25 team you got to play. You don't have to worry about the loss. Like I said, as a 2-loss SEC team, I think you should probably be fine to make it into the playoffs. You'd have to be perfection if you lose this game. And this is a tough one to pick. It's picking hairs. I did it last week with Vanderbilt. I'm going to do it again this week. Vanderbilt has yet to fail me while doing this. They're playing at home. I trust Diego Pavia. I am rocking with Vanderbilt to win this game 24-21. I know Missouri is good. I know Missouri can win. I really like Bo Pribula, but last week it was a little bit of a struggle. Vanderbilt on their A game is better than Missouri on their A game. However, if you can get a day where Vanderbilt is on their B game and Missouri is on their A game, which is not that unrealistic, Missouri can win this football game. They can. Will they? I don't know. Will they? I don't know. This is a game, though, that is going to be close. A game that at the end of the day should be a game for Vanderbilt to win. But one mistake here or one mistake there makes it a game that Missouri, if they're given an inch, they could take a mile. I'm picking Vandy 24-21. I don't love it. I do not love it. But I am going to rock with Diego Pavia to get the job done. Anyways, I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you all for watching. As always, make sure to like, comment who you think is going to win this week in any of the featured games, or maybe just your team. And as always, subscribe. We'll be back next week as well with Week 10, as always. But another big week of college football right around the corner. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.